As important as watering is to succulent care, the soil that you use is equally important, if not more so. It doesn't matter how much water you're putting on at a time, if the soil never dries out, your succulents are not going to be happy. So here I want to highlight 4 different types of soils and give you some ideas of what might work for you. In the past, I have almost exclusively promoted a gritty soil mix like this Bonsai Jack Gritty Mix. I've been using it for 12 years, basically the entire time I've been growing succulents, and it works super duper well for me. However, not everyone has the same care preferences or the same environment that I do, and so I'm realizing there really is a sliding scale of what succulents need in terms of soil. The most important things though are the soil needs to be well draining and it needs to dry out quickly. The way you accomplish that or how quickly it dries out really depends on what you're looking for in your succulent care routine. I'll put links to all of these soil types in the description and in the comments so that you can check them out. If you are prone to overwatering or you find that a lot of your succulents die from rot or too much water, using a gritty mix like the Bonsai Jack Mix is going to be a really great option for you. However, if you find that that dries out a little bit too quickly for you and you want something that retains water a little bit longer, I highly recommend using this magic succulent soil that Andrea from Just Suck It created. If you're looking for a bagged option that's ready to go, both of these would be my recommendations. They're extremely well draining, but they also retain enough water that the succulents will get what they need. The other benefit of these soils is they have a large particle size, and that's actually a really important piece of keeping succulents healthy. Because this is mostly inorganic or rock material, the soil holds its shape really well and it allows water to flow through easily while also hydrating some of those components that store more water in them. As we move over to more of the traditional potting soils, you'll notice that this is pretty dense and there's really not a lot of space for airflow. In these gritty mixes, the roots can easily grow between the rocks and the large particles, and it also allows for better airflow, meaning more of the soil is going to dry out at a pretty consistent pace. Sometimes with a soil that's a little bit more organic, you'll end up with spots that stay wet and other parts that dry out really quickly. So the large particle size allows for a lot better aeration, which means the roots have more room to grow and the soil dries out more evenly. An option here kind of in the middle is coconut coir. This is something I've used for a long time, especially for cuttings and leaf propagations. I found that it holds onto water longer than the gritty mixes, but still seems to drain pretty well. And over here on the end, we have a more traditional potting soil. A lot of the cactus and succulent mixes that you would buy from name brands tend to look like this with maybe a little bit more perlite mixed in. These soils can work, but you're typically going to want to use bottom watering in order to make sure the soil gets soaked completely through rather than just pouring water on top. The other issue I've run into with a peat moss based soil is that it repels water. So when you pour water on top, the water just rolls right off onto the side. If you have a succulent in this mix, what often happens is you'll pour water on the top and then the water will just run down the sides and it'll never actually get to the center of the soil where the roots are. The term for that is hydrophobic, meaning it repels water. All of these, when completely dry, will be somewhat hydrophobic. So no matter what type of soil you use, I highly recommend pouring your water on slowly rather than just dumping a whole bunch on at once. Go little by little and make sure you're covering all of the soil. If you just water in one spot, you're going to end up with other areas that don't get wet, especially if you're using a gritty mix. Bottom watering also works with gritty mixes. Sometimes people fill with a gritty mix that water just flows straight through it and it's not really holding any water. They do actually hold a lot more water than it seems like, but again, pouring water on slowly or bottom watering or doing both, watering from the top and the bottom, can help ensure that your soil gets soaked all the way to the center. So this brings up one really important point with watering succulents. It's not about the amount of water that goes on, it's really more about frequency. Now, when I say that, the caveat is you want to make sure the soil is getting soaked completely. If you're just pouring on a couple drops or a couple tablespoons of water at a time, it is not going to help your succulent grow. It's not enough water in one sitting for it to absorb what it needs and develop a healthy root system. So make sure you're not just putting little drizzles of water on at a time, but you're completely soaking the soil soil, no matter what type of soil you're using. Let's go ahead and put some water on each of these soils just so you can get an idea for what they look like when they're wet and how quickly they start absorbing the water. So what I want you to look for is water beading or pooling on top of the soil as I put it on, and then you'll notice it start to sink down to the bottom. I'm going to try and put a similar amount of water onto each of these so that we can also take a look at the sides and the bottom later and see how much they've absorbed and what parts stay wet or dry. I'm going to try and do about the same amount on this as well. And you'll notice I'm going all over the soil, not just staying in one spot. I always recommend using the soak and dry method for watering succulents. So just like you saw here, I want you to completely soak your soil and then let it dry out completely before you water again. Now, the trick with this is the gritty mixes will look dry on top much faster than the more organic mixes. However, you still want to make sure that these are dry all the way to the bottom of the pot before you put more water on. For a lot of succulents, you'll actually want to wait even longer after the soil dries out before you water again. This soak and dry method helps them build a really healthy, established root system so they can tolerate longer periods of drought over time. I also combine the soak and dry method with what I call the taco test. And that is, you want to squeeze the leaves of your succulents before you water. If they're really firm like this, you want to let it go several days longer without water. Then come back and check. And if you start to feel a little bit more give, go ahead and water the succulent at that point. This is a little bit of an extreme example of an underwatered succulent, but you can see how I can completely bend this leaf. You don't typically want to wait that long before you water your succulent, but you do want it to have a little bit of give when you water. Now that these have had a little bit of time to sit, let's actually dump them out and see what they look like. Let's see if they got wet all the way through or if there are some spots that did not get watered well. So this did not have drainage holes in it. So in this case, I think we're going to end up with a little bit of water pooling at the bottom, but you can see this was not enough water to get it fully saturated. And I think we're gonna find that's the case with almost all of these. This is why I tend to do multiple passes of water when I'm watering. So I let the water kind of soak through. The more wet it is, the more likely it is to absorb more water. So put on a little bit at a time, and then put on a little bit more, and then a little bit more. Let's see how the magic succulent soil fared. So this is similar. The bottom is kind of dry and the top was wet. There are some spots around the edges that are wet because I went along the side, but the inside was still dry. So that means that this amount of water that I put on, which is about 50 milliliters, and I actually have no idea how much soil this is, that might be helpful to know, but it was not enough water to get it soaked all the way through. Let's take a look at the coconut coir. I can actually already see from the side here that this definitely did not get soaked all the way through, but this is what I was talking about with the other soils too, where water will just go down the side. And if this didn't have a drainage hole, this likely wouldn't have absorbed quite as much water. So the top layer of this is pretty wet, but the bottom and a good chunk of the middle is still dry. Lastly, let's see what happened to this organic mix. You can see also on the side here, there's a lot of patches that are not wet. And most of this is actually not wet. The top area though was pretty soaked. It just wasn't enough to penetrate all the way down to the bottom. So what do we take away from this? You should probably know roughly how much water to put on your succulents. Typically, I have recommended that if you're using a non-draining pot, that you put in water to equal about half of the pot size. So in theory, if you have a cup of soil, you would want to put on about a half a cup of water. In this case, it definitely was not enough to get everything soaking wet. If you can, I would just pour a bunch of water on multiple times to ensure that water is getting all the way to the center of the soil so your succulents are getting that water to all of their roots. This is also why a lot of people find that bottom watering is easier because they can just stick their succulent in a pot of water, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, and then pull it out, and the soil will be soaked all the way through. One problem you run into with bottom watering is if you put multiple pots in the same container to have them all be bottom watered at the same time, or maybe you take them all to the sink and water that way, you're a little bit more likely to get some contamination if one of your succulents has mealybugs or powdery mildew or scale or anything like that. It's much more likely to spread across all your succulents if you're bottom watering them together in the same bin. The other thing I really just want to stress here is that whatever type of soil you use, just make sure it is getting soaked all the way to the center and that it's drying out completely. If you want to use a really gritty mix like I use, go for it. If you want to mix up something of your own, that's awesome too. I really do recommend going more for large particle sizes. Something that's really chunky or gritty is typically going to be best for your succulents long term. But if you're already using something like the coconut coir or a regular potting mix and it's working for you, if your succulents are growing well, keep doing what you're doing. There's no reason to change soils if your succulents are growing healthy. However, if you do have a more organic soil and you find that your succulents are fairly prone to rot, I would recommend switching to a grittier soil mix. On the flip side, if you're using a gritty mix and you feel like your succulents are just drying out way too quickly and you're watering too often, go ahead and add some more organic material to it. That's actually how Andrea ended up creating this soil mix, is she had been using a traditional gritty soil mix, but found that she was watering more often than she wanted to. And so she put this mix together that has a little bit more organic material to it, has some worm casting, some coconut coir, and other things mixed in there. It's still very gritty, but it does retain water longer than Bonsai Jack's gritty mix. There's no perfect soil solution for every single person and every single succulent. It's going to vary from person to person, and you may even find it varies from succulent to succulent. A few succulents that I've found don't tend to love the super gritty mix are my variegated elephant bush. It seems to dry out too quickly. Also, Ripsalis or coral cactus is another one that I typically don't put in quite as gritty of a mix. Smaller succulents also tend to do better in slightly more organic soils because they don't have a large root system that allows them to withstand drought for long periods of time. So if they're in a soil that retains water a little bit longer, they will typically grow a little bit faster. At the end of the day, the success of your succulents comes down to using a well-draining soil, watering with the soak and dry method, and then paying attention to the signs your succulent's giving you that it needs more or less water. I have a free cheat sheet that you can download to learn those signs that your succulent needs more or less water, and I'll put a link to that in the description as well as the comments. I would love to know what types of soil mixes you've been using for your succulents and finding success with. Please feel free to share in the comments and help us learn from what you're doing.